printing pole award tonight that secures him $5 additional and 3 more bonus points to secure the title. For all of your retail and contract screen printing needs, visit fwscreen.com. Shipping is available nationwide. Drivers now making their way towards your starting grid for tonight, and it was one of the more closer pole awards of the season, as Hawken had to hold off Brian Mercurio subbing for Will Rogers by about 0.2 of a second. Nate Stewart starts in row 2 tonight alongside Colin Firm from Brandon Built Motorsports, while Jacob Fisher in the Space Station Gaming Machine starts in 5th. Eric Prewitt will start in 6th with Arnold Columbia in 7th. Brad Perez, Mohan Rahman, along with Dylan Poe round out the top 10 today, Cisco.
Yeah, then John Garrett going to start 11th. Benjamin Branscombe is going to start 12th. Elaine Hughes, she'll start 13th with Devin Mistak in 14th. Sawyer Ott is going to start 15th with Kevin Reed, and Benjamin Fanning rounding out your 17-car field.
Once again, 40 laps to the McCarty Setup Shop, Queen City 90 from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. The distance tonight, 90 miles for these drivers today. Stage cautions at the end of lap 10, end of lap 20, or rather end of lap 20 for the stage caution, end of stage 1, lap 10, and then the end of the race will be lap 40 today. Track conditions, 65 degrees is your air temp with partly cloudy skies, with 80 degrees Fahrenheit the track temp at the moment. Winds currently gusting 2 miles an hour to the north, 55% humidity. In sim day, October the 10th, 2020. Drivers are lining up the rest of these competitors onto the racetrack to prepare for tonight's action. Your keys to victory, Cisco.
My keys to victory, I think the biggest thing we have to do tonight, Justin, keep the car on the racetrack. That's always the case when we go to these road courses in these cars. And yeah, they've been doing it for 6 weeks, but nonetheless, it doesn't change, Justin. Keep the car on the racetrack. Don't cost yourself any more time. Another key, those pit stops. We talked about it earlier. You mentioned it's probably the most challenging pit road entry in all of NASCAR. I'd wager maybe Daytona or the Daytona road course, but even that has a chicane in front of it. This, you're coming full boat out of NASCAR 4, and you got to get it woed down with a road course racing package. That is a very, very tough thing to do here at Concord. And finally, my final key to the race, watch and learn. That 99 is going to be on rails tonight. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Learn what you can from him and implement it into your driving style. I think Brandon Hawkins is going to be the favorite by a landslide here, but we'll have to see. And I guess one bonus one, watch out for Heartburn Turn. They're going to be coming in real quick.
Absolutely. It's going to be needing a clean run to the corner, especially here, as several of the drivers all set to go for tonight's action. Cisco, who are some of the best drivers you're watching for outside of Brendan Hawken tonight to see how they perform?
Yeah, I was going to say Hawken, but beyond Hawken, I think Mercurio is going to have a really good shot. I mean, obviously starting up there in that main group is going to really help that car. It's numbered 55, but that is the 69 car. So just keep an eye on that on your timing screens tonight. The 16, Nate Stewart, he's always, I mean, you look at the top 5 and any of those guys, I think, have a decent shot at it. The one car I'm going to say also keep an eye on, I want to see what Brad Perez does here, starting back in that 8th position, the number 30 machine. That car reminding me a little bit of, I believe that's an old Carl Edwards scheme that he's adapted on that car. But keep an eye on Brad tonight, and we'll see what Mr. Photography has to show us here at Charlotte.
Don't forget that car also ran in the mid 2000s with Mark Martin for the Truck Series, as well as the now called NASCAR Xfinity Series back in the day.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's the old Scott scheme with the you can see the blades of grass there on the rear of the car as well as the side, and that's a very interesting choice. And can't say I blame the drivers there electing they don't want to go too wide through the chicane. Unfortunately for them, they'll have to do it on the front stretch. So buckle up, Justin. We got 40 laps here at the Roval, and just watch your brake bias, because the last thing you want to do is pile it into Heartburn Turn. Let's see what these guys can do.
The iRacing safety car all set to go. It's Brandon Hawken and Brian Mercurio in control of the field tonight. In total, 15 drivers made it to the starting grid. Benjamin Fanning did not make it to the grid. Kevin Reed Jr. in race control tonight from Venturini Motorsports. Green flag is out. We're underway for the McConaughey Setup Shop Queen City 90. A bit of wheel spin for some of the drivers coming out of the corner, but Brandon Hawken already clear by 3 car lengths. Will Rogers to second. Nate Stewart holds on to third spot. All drivers stay lockstep from the get-go.
And nobody stuffed it in turn number 1, so everybody in this for at least a moment. The battle looks like it's going to start for that second place position right now, as that's Mercurio trying to hold off Nate Stewart. Stewart, you can see, closing in a little bit, and already a train starting to form behind Mercurio with Stewart in third. You can see they've caught up to that driver in front of them. The peloton is growing already as we leave the infield and up on the NASCAR 1.
And right now, Mercurio with his hands full. He was very competitive in practice, but off by just a couple tenths of a second. Nate Stewart currently with the hand out the window. We may have to see what the 16 does here in this opening lap of this race, as up through the back stretch, chicane they go, 12 and 13. And it's one of the more tougher chicanes to go through in the early going because of that safer barrier. None of the drivers stuff into the safer barrier at the front of the field. All clean running, +3 for Devin Mistak, the biggest mover off that first lap. Brandon Hawken leads by 8 tenths of a second.
And you'll see these cars going over those turtles, catch a little bit of air. That's normal. These turtles very high. You have a little bit of that step up with that initial curb, but these cars you're gonna see some two-wheeling tonight, folks. So just hang on to your belts. That's by design for a lot of these drivers. But it looks like about a 5-car breakaway, if you can call it that. It's opened up to about a second and a third. Between 5th and 6th, that's Fisher and Prewitt. Prewitt's starting to fall off a little bit, that 59 car, not having a whole lot of luck, and Fisher's starting to drive away a little bit from him as they head through the S's and back up towards NASCAR 1 once again.
Yes, indeed. And when it comes to the trickiness here, we talk about the need to hit all the marks. These drivers, especially up towards the front, are going right up nearly to those inside tires in safer barriers towards the inside of the run to NASCAR 1, right when they go back onto the NASCAR circuit. How big is it to try and make sure you execute those lines to the fullest of your abilities to make sure you have that fine balance of being safe to where you aren't overdriving the car, but also not underdriving it and getting ran over from behind or getting passed?
Yeah, that's very much the case as we're watching the leaders start to close up here. Mercurio seems to have found a little bit of something and is catching up to Hawken. Not a great exit out of the chicane, though. And Justin, there you go. He missed his mark there, and unfortunately, Hawken lost a little bit of time. And just like that, no, Brian, don't stuff it there. Nowhere to go for the 69, the 55 car, rather, as he nearly noses it into that area with the two walls right there. Nowhere really to go, and just like that, all that time that Mercurio gained, just throw it out the window, Justin. That's what missing your marks can do.
100%. By the way, Sawyer Ott off the racetrack. He stuffed it into the wall coming through. Turned the exit of turn 3 in the infield. He's now in the pit lane and Eric.
More problems. Yep.
Yes, same section. Benjamin Branscombe.
Yeah, Branscombe, he did what Mercurio almost did, and in his case, I believe, just backed it into the wall. We'll see if we can wind that one back for you. Yeah, so that was it. It's weird, that elevation change, and one of the layouts here that'll actually show you that is the Rallycross layout as well, that we just have here at we just added to the Roval. But watch on the replay here, the 38 comes up here, and you have this on-camber corner, and the back end just slides out, and luckily that car just missing him there. But unfortunately for Branscombe, there's really nowhere to go there. There's not a lot of runoff. It's almost like a street circuit going through that corner, Justin.
Yeah, and that's actually a good analogy of it with the tightness. It's almost like that at points, but it's also something where it's not your natural road course, say a Watkins Glen or a Road America where you have tons of runoff. It's essentially almost the middle ground between it, because you have basically 2-3 lanes throughout much of the track, but you also have it where there's a little runoff if you make any mistakes outside those lines.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Justin, and that's part of what makes this track so interesting, and you'll see it on the exit here. We're watching Mercurio come through the corners, and I'll tell you what, Justin, from what I'm seeing with that 55 right now, Mercurio seems to be running a little bit faster His last lap time didn't match Hawken, but he seems to be rolling through the corners a little bit faster. The problem is he's just not doing it consistently enough to catch Hawken. In some of these corners, he's faster. In other times, he loses so much time that he just gives it all back. So we talked about hitting your marks. That's the biggest thing you have to do, Justin. It's all about consistency here. It's one thing to be really fast one lap and then throw it away the next lap. It's those minuscule gains that you'll make through this race. That's where you're going to find time. That's where you're going to make positions.
On board with Mercurio as he gains actually about a tenth or so that time through the chicane, through the final corners. And you can tell he's almost trying to avoid a little bit more of the rumble strip on top of that ever since that mistake compared to what Brendan Hawkins doing. Hawkins taking a little bit more curbing here. So in your opinion, why do you feel he's going towards that direction, trying to hit less curb compared to Hawkins more curbing?
I think for Mercurio, it might just be a case of comfort. I know when I hop behind the wheel, Justin, getting the wheel thrown out of your hands is not something that you like to feel. So it really depends on how Mercurio has his whole setup set up, basically. If he has a case where he's using a direct drive and it's ripping the wheel out of your hands every time you hit the curb, that's not a lot of fun to do. Now, necessarily, it's not going to hurt your tire wear too much as long as you aren't turning too sharp. As problems for the 68 he goes around, that's Colin Fern.
And you see the number stamped on. That is from one of the iRacing events that took place a few weeks ago. For Colin Fern, this was the run coming through the exit of the infield and ends up getting him damaged. He was battling with Jacob Fisher for position before that and was holding on to that spot before Fisher, I believe, actually poked to the inside and helped him around in this situation, Cisco. You'll see it right here.
And that's that switch over right before you head back onto the oval. The 84 stuck the nose in. Yeah, there's still a little bit of corner. The 86 or the 68, but either way, Fern thought he could clear him there, and car inside, unfortunately, just got cleared, I think, a minuscule too late. I think, Justin, that was just a case of Fern making up his mind, and then the spotter going, wait, don't. Oh, too late.
That's a good way to put that. By the way, Prewitt has also made the pass on Fisher as a result of the damage. Fern is cycled behind, one driver serving a bit of a slowdown, Dylan Poe, after he cut the entire final chicane by going through the infield logos. And keep in mind on iRacing, you have 30 seconds to serve any slowdown penalties throughout the course of the lap. He served that down the front straightaway in turn one as well to close back up to Arnold Columbia and Colin Fern here. This is currently the battle for 8th position.
Yeah, this battle between Columbia, he's closing up a little bit here. We'll have to see as they come out of the oval. You'll see how the cars, hit that gradient banking. It's almost similar to the way the Daytona road course is, but in the same way, not so much, because it's not. It's a little bit more of a altitude change. When you're at Daytona, it's still flat. You go into the NASCAR corner like you're going into the NASCAR corner. Here, it's a little bit more of a change when you come out onto the oval. So you can see the cars kind of dive up. They go the top of the wall, though, just like they do at Daytona, to get the run down the banking to go that inside. And here we come out of NASCAR 4 into the chicane once again. Of course, the famous chicane where it all went wrong for Jimmy Johnson, who tried to get the pass on Martin Truex back here in the opening race here at the Roval. And you can see how much time the 39 of Columbia gains. He's right on the back bumper of the 19 as they head back towards the infield.
Coming up towards the final laps of stage one. Currently, the race lead is 1.6 seconds between Hawken and Mercurio. Nate Stork currently holding on to third. Fisher has taken back fourth. Bruin has fallen back 3 seconds to him for fifth. Brad Perez currently holding on to sixth. Then you have Mohan Rahman, and then this battle is one of the closer ones on the racetrack. And keep in mind, you see the Kentucky Racing logos on Dylan Poe's car. There's been a lot of support from especially the Kentucky sim racers that are a part of the iRacing service. You had seen Branscombe with his mistakes. We've seen Dylan Poe race with a Kentucky Racing car. He's also now been driven by Arnold Columbia, who's also, keep in mind, while Canadian, showed a lot of support for this series. He actually did a promotional video for this event tonight for social media.
And I'll tell you, whoa, that got a little bit close there. The Colin Fern there got right on the back bumper of Poe. Has to be careful not to spin him. That's very easy to do here in these chicanes, Justin. But I think the promo video is helping Columbia a little bit because he's driving away now from that 19. Decent day for Arnold's got a get a few more spots. And Fern thought about it, but I'll tell you what, it's not that you don't want to start that pass in the middle of that chicane. It's definitely a case where you want to have the run through it and use the speed on the exit to do exactly what Colin Fern's doing here. Pass made through Heartburn Turn as we head under the Bank of America crossover bridge, and Colin Fern takes over that 9th place position.
Makes it look nice and easy. He does have a bit of front end damage, remember, from that incident a couple laps ago as he drips it around a little bit. Closing up to 2 to go this time, buying the stage. And by the way, in the reference to the videos too, keep in mind, for those who do not know, Cisco Scaramouza does promotional work with iRacing a lot for the video side. Also did the very creative promotional videos for Team Rick.
Oh, I can't take credit for that. that was all, well, no, that was a little bit of a brain trust between myself and Ian Plash, but yeah, that's we're going to be seeing a little bit of drifting tonight. We've already seen a little bit of it today so far, and I'll jump back to this battle because Dylan Poe just locked it up because he got a huge run coming out of NASCAR too, and about piled it into the back of Colin Fern going into the chicane.
And it's so easy to lock it up too, especially with these cars, because it's not like a standard road course racing car where you have the brakes that quickly goes down into the gears, off and away you go. With these, you snap the brakes too hard or stomp on them too hard, or even shock the tires, so to speak, you're going around.
Yeah, and I mean, that's basically how it is, viewers. Like as Justin said, you look at that brake pedal wrong and you're going around. That's the case of when you have about, what I believe this package is the 750 horsepower package, and you have the equivalent of brakes that would be good on race cars maybe 20 years ago. Colin Fern loosened them up side by side as they head through the final 2 turns here, heading back towards the outer NASCAR oval. And just like that, Colin Fern able to repass Arnold Columbia, and just like that, he'll drive away. Let's see what Columbia can do through NASCAR turns here.
Yeah, that was a little bit sketchy for Columbia. Started losing the back end tires and still weeble wobbling at the moment.
Yeah, now, oh, that's not going to work. Yep, there it is. Poe missed that breaking point last time. By that time, unfortunately, Arnold Columbia, nowhere for him to go. He just got the surprise of a lifetime there and a boot full of green and purple Chevrolet. So, unfortunately for Arnold Columbia, that's going to be some damage. I think both of those cars probably going to have to come down pit road this time, Justin. Those cars are pretty well injured right there. Or not. No, the Columbia actually going to stay out. Okay, he's taking a brave pill.
There is a faster pair available just in case, but still, you are right about potential revs. By the way, Dylan Poe, I think he's basically given up on that final chicane.
It's one of those, if you don't have your braking mark set there, Justin, during practice, it makes this whole race a whole lot harder because you have to have practice getting on the brake pedal in that same spot multiple times. But you also have to practice once the tires go down, and we're working that final lap of the first stage here, Justin. So these tires are worn in a little bit. So if you're Dylan Poe, I'm wondering if Dylan maybe didn't get enough practice with tire wear in this race here.
Lane Hughes about to be lapped as Brandon Hawkin, end of stage 1, adds another 10 points towards his credit. Brandon Hawkin, the winner of stage 1 of the McConey Setup Shop, Queen City 90. Brian Mercurio has fallen back more than 3 seconds to second spot. Nate Stewart third. Jacob Fisher with his damage in fourth. Then you have Eric Prewood, who's been quietly running in 5th position, or back and forth rather, with Brad Perez, who's now in 5th position. Prewood's in 6th position now, 22 seconds behind the leader. Ramen, Fern, Mistack, Columbia, the current top 10. Once again, all points will be scored at the end of the lap for those respective competitors. Columbia will be the last of those drivers after his trouble, that time with Dylan Poe, after the contact in towards the bus stop chicane. So, 30 laps to go this time. Dylan Poe has actually come in this time to come into pit at the end of the stage.
Yeah, I think at that point, Justin, it was I need tires and I need them now for Dylan Poe. So he's going to come down pit road. But I want to jump to the battle here going on for the 5th place position. Brad Perez has moved up from where he qualified, sitting in that 5th place position. And he's got Eric Prewitt, who lost a little bit of time through the infield. But Prewitt just previously was all over the back bumper of that 30 car as they head through NASCAR 2.
You see that at +3. It's the second biggest mover of the race so far tonight. Starting to gain some ground. Keep in mind your race leader Brandon Hawkins just came in this time by, so pit window is open for drivers. The question is going to be, when do you want to try and pit, knowing you can't make it to the end of stage 2, but also you could potentially lose upward of 3 seconds and fall off?
Yeah, if I'm any of the drivers out here, if I see Brandon Hawkins just came in, I'm just gonna do what he does at this point. You know, he's by far and away got the pace on the field right now. So if I'm the rest of these drivers here, I want to be on the same tire strategy as him. You could stretch it out here, Justin, and try and play the Delta game and try and figure out where your tire wear is going to be best. But unless you've practiced that already, I'd be doing what the leader does. That's just kind of where my head's at with this. There's so much to worry about. Where's my braking point? When do I shift? All these sorts of things. And if you're out there on your lonesome, you don't have a crew chief helping you, just play the safe game, Justin. The last thing you need to do, my first key point today, don't make mistakes. Don't fall off the racetrack. And one of those things is just trying to play a little bit too cute with your strategy. That's a really good way to throw your race away.
Speaking of strategy calls, Dr. Bob ended up staying out for that. And still is on the racetrack. Brian Mercurio, I'm referring to, your race leader now by 12 seconds. So he's trying something a little bit different. Keep in mind, he does currently have the Overton Speed Shop fastest lap at the moment. That award at the end of the race secures $5 and 3 bonus points, which could be crucial in that close battle for the top 3 in the final prize paying position with this car. Brad Perez, the Overton Speed Shop is a team which creates official and custom setups for Marconi Setup Shop. And you can see how different and how quick the fresher tires are just blasted on by him in heartburn turn.
Yeah, and Hawkins on a mission here. I think one thing that will help Mercurio, I don't think it'll overcome the gap, but one thing that'll certainly help him is the fact that Hawkins got stuck behind all this lap traffic. So if I'm Mercurio, I'm basically out on my lonesome at this point. So Justin, I think that is going to help. The problem is, where is this going to put Mercurio once he finally does come to pit road? Is he going to try and save and just do his one stop during the caution? I don't think you're making it 20 laps. This track is very long, and I don't think you can save that much gas. So if you're Mercurio, where do you come out? And are you going to be stuck in the same sort of almost Joker-esque lap traffic if you're Mercurio, which he is going to head to pit this time? So as he goes through the gears down to pit road speed and into the Toyota pit road here at Charlotte Motor Speedway is Brian Mercurio. Jacob Fisher, the first car who is going to stay out, and he'll inherit the lead from Mercurio here.
So Space Station Gaming Machines on alternate strategies tonight, and for Jacob Fisher actually changed the number font for tonight. And there's always the aesthetics to the race cars that people sometimes overlook. He changed that up for a little bit more of a slant, he mentioned on social media prior to tonight. That was specifically going through a fellow race artist who does racing in real life in big block modifieds, essentially. So a different look on the car for Jacob Fisher for tonight compared to past races.
Yeah, and I'm sure somewhere, Ryan Bauer and James Pike at this point would make a joke about Aardvark Bold and me and my my certain likeness for that font. But as I will point out to them multiple times, I use Bold. Thank you very much. I don't use Aardvark Bold. Of course, for those of you who aren't in the know, Aardvark Bold, of course, the Hendrick font that was used primarily by Casey Mears, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon, that particular font.
Wait, which font do you use? Sorry, I heard bold or bolt.
Bolt.
Okay, like lightning bolt.
Yes, BOLT, but that's one of the iRacing defaults, and actually something, I guess, by my sheer luck of knowing Greg Hill, I was able to get the font download from him and actually make a custom number based off that. So it's very similar to my iRacing stamp number as Jacob Fisher brings his car to the pit road here and will eventually bring it to the attention of his crew. But yeah, I've always had a fondness for that one, Justin. So I can see, though, that 84, really nice looking car, but the car that's out front is that 99. Once again, Brandon Hawkins playing the strategy game. He is back out front, and he's got what looks to be, that's about a 10-second lead on Brian Mercurio right now. Hello, fresh tires.
That is a massive, massive undercut call just on 1 to 2 lap difference to be able to gain that. Approaching halfway in stage 2 this time by. The only drivers yet to pit are Colin Fern, who has been known to really try different strategy calls, Cisco, lately. And the other one is John Garrett. So, along with Elaine Hughes, rather. So, 3 drivers yet to pit. But for Fern, the strategy calls have almost worked a couple times. It almost worked at Watkins Glen. It was in an interesting spot at the Indianapolis road course before madness ensued down the back straightaway. But for Fern, he's really tried to thrive off the stage cautions, especially knowing you mentioned not being able to potentially go 20 laps. Keep in mind, several times drivers have had to splash and dash essentially in the pits right before the start of the stage and sacrifice track position to make sure of the gas.
Yeah, and I think the other thing working against Fern right now is nope, that's not how you take the chicane, Colin. That unfortunately locked up the braking point. You couldn't really see it from that shot, but basically ate the turtles for breakfast was that 86. But you see the damage on that car, Justin? That's probably going to hamper him a little bit more. I don't think he's got the full 100% of that Chevrolet Camaro as he heads through the final chicane here. That's really going to hurt him. So he doesn't really have a choice. He kind of has to play the strategy game, Justin, because otherwise he's going to be way in the back because he's got to get that car repaired.
He's running 1 minute 24s right now. Nate Stewart ran on 1 minute 20 last time by on 4 lap old tires. Fastest car last time by so happened to be Mercurial with a 1:18.5, 1.1 seconds quicker than Brandon Hawkin. Jacob Fisher, though, is closed right back to the back bumper of this battle. Keep in mind, Dylan Poe is a lap car in the midst of things since he did take the early pit stop on lap 10.
Yeah, and I think for Poe at this point, he's just going to let the 84 go here. He is that lap car. Remember, came down earlier to get the damage repair after missing his braking point and plowing through the backstretch chicane. So Poe going to let these two fight it out, but Fisher trying to close in a little bit. Another great battle as well. Arnold Columbia and Devin Mistek further back in your field. The 39 and the 17, they're a little bit close as well. As you'll see the 39 come through up over the curbs there. And yes, Justin, that is the normal line here. I'm not sure that's what they intended when they originally put that groove in as kind of more of a runoff, but it's allowed. The NASCAR hasn't stopped you going through there. And the 39 also just decided to take some off-road excursion as he got a little bit scared by that corner. I think almost hit the pit road or not pit road, but the attenuator there on the wall. That got close. Oh yeah, I did see smoke, and yeah, we'll have to take a look at what happened there. But what's happening right now is Mistak just dived to the inside, got the braking point just right on the chicane. Can Columbia fight back?
Yes, indeed. We'll have to see if he can fight here. It's about 1 minute and 3 seconds behind. Keep in mind, both of them have come into pit. Keep in mind as well, the smoke was from Brad Perez, who spun around into a loop, lost him a few seconds of time. He's currently in the battle with Prewood. Currently, Dylan Poe also has just had an incident in 12th position after everything. But that battle, it could be crucial for Devin Mistak because for the past couple weeks, he's been in contention for the Monstop Shop Vibe Checker Award, which is another $5 award with 3 bonus points. Ready to make your look pop? Check out monstopshop.com for unique apparel such as the Vibe Checker collection as the Monstop Shop cars crashed.
Well, and he nearly binned it there as well going over the curb. And unfortunately, that's going to make life a little bit tougher for Mr. Manon Raman there. We'll have to see. I think one thing that's interesting, though, Justin, we talked about it earlier, the strategy play by Mercurio. So it looks like Raman has gotten back up to speed. Let's take a look at what happened. And, he ended up, he tried to save it, Justin. But once the car goes about that wrong, yeah, you're not saving that. Unfortunately, fishtails on him and goes right into the outside wall. And that's the end of the 44. He's got actually not too much damage. I think got lucky. Hello, slow car, Elaine Hughes. That was almost bad. Sorry, Zach, you cut away there. But Raman was coming through the NASCAR 3 and 4, and Elaine Hughes. That was an extra chicane there for the 44.
She stretched it to the end of the fuel window. 18 laps is the distance they were getting to the start of lap 18. As said, 17 laps the expected distance. It was a bit of a scary moment there, but for Ryan Mercurio, Substitute driver tonight for Will Rogers. He's closed the gap to around where it was, give or take, before pit stop. 6 seconds now. He's closing in more than a second a lap. Not going to be enough time, though, before the stage caution flag, potentially to reach the back end of Hawken, but he's been blistering quick on the lap charts, especially in the short run on fresh tires.
So the question becomes here, Justin. We know this competition caution is coming here in about a lap. So the question, if you're Brian Mercurio, you know that staying out on older tires does, obviously it's going to net you more speed because you're ahead of Hawken on the Delta. The Delta's favoring you as one car goes sliding off just in front of Mercurio. That is the, I believe that is Branscombe in the 38 once again. Yeah, he's coming back out on the racetrack. Just missed the breaking point there. But I think something, unfortunately for Mercurio, is he's not going to have a chance to really reap that strategy because with this caution, it's going to come down, I think, to mano-a-mano with Hawken. There's not really much you can do to try and play the strategy game once again once this caution comes out.
It's going to be very interesting. For Branscombe, by the way, keep in mind throughout this entire series, he's had the support from the University of Kentucky, has streamed on the personal Twitch account, or the school's Twitch account, I should say, several times, and he's been one of the big social media aspects of this series and getting the chance to allow hundreds to watch along as he tries to make his way around these road courses.
And yeah, I mean, we're always excited to see introducing more people to racing through sim racing. That's one of the great things we have with this service here, is because of the accessibility of it, it allows us to be able to reach out. I think of some of the work that Lisa Pineda, Brian Blackford, and the Slip Angle group has done in the past with STEM SimX and everything that they've done to help outreach and teach a lot of people and get them interested in engineering here, just through iRacing and through sim racing in general. So just one of the many things that sim racing can do. So we're taking a look at Brad Perez as he's trying to hunt down Eric Prewitt with the white flag in the air.
Final lap in stage 2, rather, currently underway. Hawken still leads by 5 seconds down the back straightaway. Again, caution will come out once the position's across. As Hawken jumps over the curbing. Brian Mercurio closing in. That could cost Hawken a few seconds in time penalties. Will that be enough for him to get it back up there and steal away a stage victory? No. Gets within 3 seconds. First major mistake for Hawken all day. He'll end off stage 2. 2 for 2 on the stages for the McConaughey Setup Shop Queen City 90 for the Charlotte Roval. No damage on the 99, but for Dr. Bob, he gets within 3.6 seconds at the end of the stage for him. Nate Stork 3rd, Jacob Fisher 4th, and the battle still heating up a little bit for 5th. Prewitt, along with Brad Perez, still fighting hard here, Cisco.
Yeah, and they're going to head towards the backstretch chicane. Perez, I think, a little bit too far back, so he'll need a mistake out of Prewitt here, or Perez will just jump the chicanes and throw it all away. Brett, hold on to the car. He does, but he throws away any shot that he's going to have in a battle here. So waiting for that top 10 car to come around here, and it's Devin Mistek. And just to say where he is, he's only about a corner or so ahead of the leader. So Devin now coming into the backstretch chicane. That is the 10th place car. That's the car we're waiting on. And he's trying to catch Arnold Columbia. This might be a battle to the line here. We'll see as he gets a little bit loose coming back into NASCAR 3 and 4 here. Last couple turns for these two before the caution.
Mistak currently your Vibe Checker Award contender +4, while Columbia trying to hold on to 2 stage points. End of the stage right here, getting ready for the stage caution as Mistak takes the final point. They cross the line, caution flag is out. We're at halfway as Brandon Hawken actually completes the 21st lap. That's how big of a gap he had on them.
And if I'm Brian Mercurio, I'm at this point starting to wonder, okay, Hawken made that first mistake. I wonder if how much that shook him up. If I'm Brandon Hawken, put that to the back of your mind. You do not want to be thinking about that. You messed up the corner. Oh well, put it behind you and try and focus on the rest of the race. You can't let that shake you, Justin, because like you said, and like we talked about last race, that's kind of what happened. So for Hawken, you just got to put it to the back of your mind and you got to go, okay, I've been super fast all day. Don't let that one mistake stay in the forefront of your mind and mess you up the rest of the race. There's so much to concentrate around this racetrack. You don't want to be doing that. But I think one last thing to keep an eye on here, Justin, with Hawken taking lap number 21 here, that fuel window inches closer. You said we could do 17. Can we do 18?
Possibly, and keep in mind, there is the additional pace lap there, so there's a chance of about 16 total green flag laps. Again, race control will throw a caution flag if there is a track blockage. At one point, we had our first non-stage caution at the Indianapolis road course because, well, half the field crashed down the back straightaway in what was the most chaotic incident of the entire season, where you had one car spun off the racetrack, then you had Will Rogers and Brandon Hawken collide, and then you had pandemonium strike the rest of the straightaway. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight, but it is a potential possibility. Keep in mind that can mix things up even more so strategy-wise on the tires.
Is that, Justin, is that why I got a deal on used race parts? Like, I got a whole shipment of, like, bumpers and crunched hoods and everything. That must have been where it was from.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think I've seen Will Rogers' door panel available for $50 somewhere.
I'm sure Evan bought like 20 pieces because that's how Evan works. Bit of an in-joke. Evan is quite the collector of car panels and pieces and die casts. He has quite a collection there, and one of these days we'll have to either on the podcast or one way or another, we'll have to get him to tell the story of his Jeff Gordon nose that got trapped during COVID, stuck in one of the Monster Jam transports, and he couldn't get it back for about 6 months. So just one of the many interesting behind-the-scenes stories. But as the cars come through NASCAR 4, I would start buying stock in pit road right now because everybody's heading there.
This is to be expected here for just about everybody. Keep in mind that 10 drivers are on the lead lap. John Garrett and Dylan Poe are 1 lap down. Branscom's 2 laps down with Elaine Hughes. Sawyer Ott never came back on the racetrack after crashing on lap 2. That's why the Christmas-themed car is still sitting in the pit box at the moment. So we'll have to see if anyone tries to top off here. Keep in mind, because the lap cars as well, it will get us to that estimated total that we were discussing a little bit before. Rahman missed the pit box, by the way. That's going to cost him some time. First driver off the lane, Brandon Hawken, followed by Brian Mercurio, Jacob Fisher, Nate Stewart, and then Colin Fern with a poor launch out of the pit box, going to lose himself a spot to pre-win. Brad Perez in 7th.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder, Zach's been trying to avoid a little bit of replays tonight, but I might coax him for one here, and I want it from the onboard of Brad Perez exiting pit road, because it got real close there when they were trying to exit. There was nearly contact. Here's the shot. So watch this. Perez gonna get left side's now going up on that 30 machine. So they'll drop, they'll drop it off the jack here. Watch how close it gets. He burns out of pit road, goes through that car, and then right at the exit here, I think he got real lucky. Look at how close that is. I think there was collision at that point, Justin, and I think he somehow got away with it, did Colin Fern. Talk about how close of a merge that was. Here's the exterior shot.
Yep, and right there. Hello.
Yeah, I think he got lucky. They still weren't technically phased in, so I think it would have been all right. But yeah, that Charlotte pit road exit, that thing's a little bit different because that's the only pit road exit that I think of in all of sim racing or all of racing in general, that's a 90-degree left.
Yes, indeed. By the way, Lucky don't get the caution flag. John Garrett, Dylan Poe giving a wave around under this caution flag as well on the racetrack. So that will mean 12 drivers on the lead lap. So expecting the win-go signal this time by. And let's take a side-by-side. You're watching STN Racing from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway and its Roval. This is Ring Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. cars topping off here on SDN Racing as we get ready to go back racing for the Makoni Setup Shop Queen City 90. Makoni Setup Shop expanded its operations throughout 2020. It includes talented setup builders and some of the biggest names in the business, including Bill Groves, Evan C., Ryan Matthews, along with Trevor Edwards, along with plenty more, and brings setups to customers every week, as well as provides top-level one-on-one coaching. For more information, go to MakoniSetupShop.com to find out your favorite setups today. Brandon Hawken in control of the race lead, followed by Brian Mercurio as we're approaching 16 laps to go. Mohan Rahman along with Brad Perez both topped off under this caution flag. Justin Prince alongside iRacing in social media, or rather iRacing marketing and production staff member Cisco Scaramuza for tonight's action. In Cisco, an interesting race so far tonight here as Columbia's just stuffed the car to the hot burn turn.
Somebody did it. It's always somebody, and unfortunately for Columbia, he got, I believe that was coming off. No, it wasn't a UL. He was trying to catch up to the field, but it's always one. And here's the replay coming off, and yep, just got the breaking point all wrong. Gets the wall. He's going to need a Tums after that one because that car is absolutely destroyed. But hey, maybe he could pull a chase. No, Columbia doesn't have the speed today, unfortunately. I don't think he could pull a Chase Elliott. And he doesn't really have a lot of time left to do it. But yeah, 39 car destroyed.
Well, that's a way to get TV time, I guess.
Yeah, not something you want to do on the pace lap, is it, Justin?
Yeah, not entirely, as
the parade around the chicane continues. Is this the preferred line now? Is this actually how people pace through here? Yes, are they that scared? Yes. Okay, they're that scared. All right.
Yes, that's how exactly they pace here. They did that in the Coke Series a little bit down the back stretch as well.
Oh, geez, I guess that just goes to show how bad my memory is. Maybe it's I don't know. That worries me that I don't remember that all of a sudden. But the pace car nonetheless going to lead the field through NASCAR 3 and 4 this time. And that Porsche GT3 Cup car going to jump to the inside, and field going to be in the hands of Brandon Hawken.
Brandon Hawken, he's led just about all the laps so far today. We'll see how he fares in this one. As Brian Mercurio watches as he's into the gas, Brandon Hawken leads him back down the front straightaway, 16 to go from Charlotte.
And Mercurio did not get a good restart as they head towards turn number 1. Is anyone else going to stuff it here? I think they all look good. Nobody else is going to need any Tums for at least one moment as it gets a little close. The battle actually for third right now. It's the 84 of Jacob Fisher, the 16 of Nate Stewart, and Colin Fern all going at it here as we watch the leaders in the foreground. In the background, there they are. All three of them, nose to tails, they head through the infield.
Fern trying to dive it underneath the inside, nearly got to the quarter panel of Stewart. Keep in mind, these drivers had the opportunity, if they got damaged, to use their fast repairs. That's why you bank them, potentially, for those stops. Rahman, of note, having some trouble, just dropped to 12th after he gained a couple spots. Brad Perez, after his top off, is in 8th position across the racetrack. Here is Perez, who has already lost touch to the rest of the pack. And that's one of the risks, too, when topping off, is this track is so big, it could take you a good minute to catch up to the pace line and potentially lose your time for the chance to battle against these two.
Yep, the leader's closing up here. We'll watch the two battles here through the chicane. Looks like the leader's not too much of a challenge here. Mercurio got a little bit wrong on the exit. He'll lose time. As for Fisher, Stewart, and Fern, looks like Fern going to lose a ton of time through the chicane there, and it becomes a two-car battle for that third place position as Stewart hanging on to the back end of Fisher as they head through the infield once again here. And I think somebody caught a little piece of the wall there. That might have been Fisher just grazing that concrete there, but the car looks okay. He keeps it straight as they come out of the corner and up over the curb down the pseudo back straightaway of the infield here.
And you've seen Fern with the suspension really bounced around and jiggled around, so to speak. And keep in mind that the fast repair is currently still being banked by Brian Mercurio. He did not take his. He does have a crack to the right front fender at the moment, as well as the hood. Other than that, car nice and clean. And don't blame him for banking it, just in case he's involved in an incident that requires him to try and charge for the pack as he charges his way into the bus stop.
The problem I'm seeing with Mercurio's line right now, Justin, though, is he's really good on corner entry. The problem is he's too good on corner entry. He's thrown it all in there, but he has no speed off, and that's where Hawkins beating him. You saw the gap open up, and as we had, look, he gained so much time in here, but he has no drive off because he's thrown it all into the corner entry. That's really good if you're trying to either tap the guy and move him out of the way in the corner. Not so great if you're trying to make up time.
Yeah, for Brandon Hawkins, you see not as much as well wheel hop that time of the exit to turns 1 and 2 compared to what we've seen for Brian Mercurio. So it's really hurting in all of the sections of the racetrack here for him.
Yeah, it's very much a case where I think Mercurio's just trying to get every inch of that car as fast as he can. He's kind of driving as much as he can, even overdriving it a little bit. And I think Hawkins, just with that experience and that intelligence behind the wheel, is just keeping it nice and calm. And man, they just continue to get closer and closer to that attenuator. I'm telling you, somebody's going to eat it before the end of the day here.
Talk about trying to get every single bit of speed. That was the type of speed we've seen throughout the day as Mercurio once again launches it through the bus stop. Nearly got to the back bumper this time as Colin Fern blows the chicane. He misses it. We'll lose him some time in the 68.
Yeah, he's going to have to give that back now, Justin. You see him go to the high side of the racetrack, just gives it all back right there. And as they head back into the front stretch chicane once again, no change with the leaders too much, and Mercurio got a little bit loose, so we'll stay with this battle. Fisher trying to hold off Fern and Stewart once again, and Fern got past Stewart to close up on that gap to Fisher. And I think Nate Stewart, just from what I've seen, oh no, he's going to have to give some more time back. I think that was left over from the bus stop, from the back stretch there, Justin. And he just, one of the things the driver's trying to do, man, he's still giving time. Oh, he's in trouble. He's in, oh no, he was still trying to, did he cut the chicane a little bit too much on the front stretch too?
Yeah, he had to give up a ton of time over the course of that 30 seconds. And keep in mind, you pass that point, it's essentially...
That's race over.
A black leg. Yes, indeed. Disqualification, yes, as he destroys all those cones.
It's not disqualification, Justin, but in this race, I think it ends up being like a minute or so penalty that you get. At that point, your race is over. You're not recovering from that. As we go back to the leaders, closing up, continuing. Man, I'm telling you, Mercurio, he's got it on corner entry. The problem is he just can't get the drive off to stay with Hawkins. Though if he keeps this up, Hawkins might just let him get into this battle here through the final chicane once again. That's a lot of air from that 55. Mercurio, though, once again, look at the 60 or the 99 drive away from him, and that's the difference. That corner entry versus exit. That's the difference right there.
And remember that black flag you just mentioned? Well, I think Fern got it because he's had to come down the pit lane. He is coming down for what appears to be an unscheduled stop just 6 laps into the run.
You know what I think that slowdown was? I think that slowdown was him realizing he was trying to give back the time and waited too long. And unfortunately for Fern, he's going to pull into the pit stall. They will service that car. So unfortunately, they're going to add even more time to that penalty. Of course, you're not allowed to take a service while you're serving a black flag. So if you're Colin Fern, he's going to be, he's booked an extended stay on pit road at this point.
By the way, you've seen Dylan Poe also come in. He had a crash on lap 17 that lost him that front clip. He's finally come in for additional service on his race car. Remember already used the fast repair as starting to slip away a little bit is Mercurio now. This is the one fear with the tires, right, is with the tire model especially, you overexert these tires quickly and slide them around. It overheats them and hurts your long run speed. A lot of drivers talk about wanting to save those tires and be careful on the throttle and the corners. Right now, as you talked about, Mercurio has not been really on that safe and cautious method.
Yeah, as Colin Fern exiting pit road here, his extended stay America stay is now complete. As he leaves pit road, he'll head back onto the racetrack right next to Jacob Fisher. That's not what the 84 wanted to see. He was just done with it. He didn't have to worry about the 86. And all of a sudden, talk about, wow, that actually worked out fairly well for Colin Fern. Right back into the battle. At this point, it's not for position. And no, Jacob, don't throw it away. And Jacob's going to drift it around that corner too. But It's not for position, Justin. I guess kind of more of a moral win there for Colin Fern, I guess.
Somewhat, especially getting back up to speed and a bit fresher tires now too from after the penalty and being able to take the tires for a minute and 21 seconds in the lane. Now, this could be a factor for the leaders now. Coming up to 10 laps to go, Mercurio is still keeping lockstep this time with Brandon Hawken. Lost a bit of time this time, lost 3/10 total last time. Coming out of the corner exits in the final sector, but again, the entrances to the corners have been his strong suit. Of note as well, Arnold Columbia, technical issue out of the race, leaves 13 cars running with 10 to go.
And you mentioned about Fern and the fresh tires. We'll have to see if Fern catches Rogers. That's probably going to slow him down. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch Hawken before the tires start to fall off, but we'll jump back and we'll continue to watch this former battle here between Fern and Fisher. But that's really helping Nate Stewart. Unless Fisher starts watching Fern's lines and starts to pull away, Nate Stewart is probably happy that all that time that he was losing to Jacob Fisher, Jacob basically threw that away, drifting it through these last couple corners last time by. So Nate Stewart might have an opportunity to go for that final step on the podium as they head back out of the infield once again.
Absolutely. Keep in mind there is a bit of damage now on that race car too, as Fisher, oh boy, a little bit squirrely going back in the NASCAR turn one, nearly snapped it up into the safer barrier.
Yeah, that's not fun. Don't do that. That's bad.
Yes.
Wall bad.
Wall bad. Staying on racetrack good. Grass very bad.
Oh, and Stewart trying to go for a qualifying run there for ESDA, and unfortunately for him, this isn't the Esports Drifting Association, and not going to get scored that time by, as he got all sorts of out of shape through that backstretch chicane. Gets on the brakes once again. And as we jump back, that's the replay of what we just saw there. Sorry, I'm half asleep here, but yeah, he got the fishtail out. And no, that's not a Supra, but trying to get some drifting done, as it looks like Colin Fern having to give up more time as Jacob Fisher just got back by him again.
Yes, indeed. So Fern starting to drop back off. Remember, he was driving around top 5 before, where Brad Perez and among them on the timing sheets are. So currently 12 cars running, by the way, on the racetrack. Elaine Hughes is now in 12th position. Branscombe currently among the drivers, still rumbling as well in 13th position, so 13 running. As the race lead is starting to check out a little bit, because Mercurio, he's falling off now by 2 to 3/10 a lap, starting to lose that edge he had on entry.
Yeah, and I think at this point, that's the problem with charging entry. Like you do that, Justin, it doesn't help the tires. When you have the corner exit figured out a little bit easier, that's a good way to save your tires. When you're charging the corner like Mercurio is, that's a good way to burn them up. So you can see Mercurio, man, he really launched it over that second turtle that time, able to hold on to the car, but you can see the whole car shudder when it hits that. Not fun for the driver of the 55 right now. And Mercurio, I think at this point, I think you need a mistake out of Hawken in order to jump back to this battle here. I just think, unfortunately for Mercurio, I think he might need a new set of Goodyear Eagles if he had any shot to take it to Hawken just organically.
Absolutely. Keep in mind that he's drifting the tires for one, and that's going to cost him even more time. So this is looking very bad. He might need a caution to have any sort of shot at this rate.
Yeah, those tires are hot now, Justin. At this point, I think at this point with the entry charges that he's been doing, those tires are going to be gone. And you can see, look at how much time Hawken opened up just in that last section of the infield. I mean, heck, he's a good not a half, but a third of a straightaway and ahead of Mercurio here. And there you go. You see it again. Mercurio just burning those tires coming off the corner. I think at this point, Mercurio, he's going to need a caution, or he's going to need lap car shenanigans in order to take on Hawken, because Hawken is, for no other word, gone.
100%. And nearly stops into the safer barrier.
He scraped it. Yep, yes. He scraped it. I saw sparks. And, car stopped. I believe that's Hughes, possibly. Elaine Hughes, I think, somehow managed to not end up in heartburn turn. I don't know how. But oh, it got close. Yeah, we're gonna need the replay on that. Oh no, she did get it. She didn't get it, unfortunately. That's another. Yeah, that she almost got it woed up. Here's the replay. And close, but no cigar, unfortunately. I think if Elaine there, Justin, I think instead of locking up the brakes, if she'd put a little bit more left rudder into it, might have gotten away with it and maybe just scraped the side. But as soon as you lock up those tires, that's game, set, match.
Keep in mind that Elaine Hughes races in real life, also has worked with real world race teams, one of the competitors here. So she's competed against drivers like Brad Perez as well in real life. So she has the real world experience. Sometimes, unfortunately, cannot translate to the sim as we've seen in some ways to compare it to the real world speed. Unfortunate in that case. By the way, Brad Perez did lose additionally 13 seconds because at the time of Elaine Hughes' incident, Brad Perez also missed the backstretch chicane. So, coming up to 6 laps to go here on SDN Racing for the season finale for Ring Around the Roadies presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. And overall, it's been a stellar season where we've seen dominant speed from some of these drivers, but some great speed overall when you think about Brandon Hawken, because he's led the most laps throughout the season. He's had some great battles with drivers like Scott Heckert, like Will Rogers, like several others throughout the campaign. But it's just been a dominant long run pace that has helped him just continue this dominant point total we've seen throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. And we're watching Hawken drive away here. I do want to jump back to the battle that isn't a battle anymore, because they're at it again. The 84 and the 86 on your screens. And this battle not for position. It formerly was, but after Fern's extended stay on pit road, I think these two are just going at it at this point, Justin. A couple laps left to go here, about 5 or 6. And I think at this point, if you're these guys, you're not really going to catch anyone. Stewart's a little too far back to catch you. So just go out there and race a little bit. And I think that's what these two are doing right now, because Fisher keeps giving up the position. Now he's going to try it to the outside of Fern here. Yeah, these two are just having a little bit of fun.
This is losing them lots of time still. Nate Stewart is coming up and fairly quick. And eventually, while this can be all fun and games, eventually you'd have to think it can get frustrating, right? Because you know it's not for position. Every time there's a mistake, you try and set it up for a pass, but Fern's able to defend it back or pass you right on back, and that can lose you time. It did by half a second last time.
Yeah, and he's not going to... He does complete the pass just barely on Colin Fern. Got it done the second half of the corner there. And you said Nate Stewart is, in fact, catching this battle. And Nate's going to have a lot fresher tires as Fern tried it there. And that is one place you are not going to be able to pull a pass off, is down through that corner. Now they head to the right and the left right before we head back onto NASCAR Oval once again. Look at the 84 just sliding those tires in front of the 86. And just like that, Fern right back on the back bumper. These two are just having fun. I love this.
Absolutely. And Nate Stewart's probably loving this as well, with the chance to potentially pounce up to a podium position. It'd be for Nate Stewart his best finish of the season if he can get the job done here. But now that Fern's the buffer again, it's not going to really help when he gets up to Fern if he has to fight Fern.
Yeah, Fern lost a ton of time there, Justin. The car got all sorts out of shape coming back onto the oval and through the bus stop. The 84 starting to pull away this time, maybe for good, because I think whatever was left of the molten rubber on those Goodyear Eagles, oh, that braking point's not going to work. Fern got that corner all sorts out of shape, and, well, no, not necessarily. He was able to hold on to it, so got the car woed down somehow. But that closing right there almost was 2 + 2 = 5, and that would have been real bad. And look at how much speed, though. The tire difference between these two, I'm looking at it right now. Fern, about 7-lap-old tires. Nate Stewart, how about double that for Fisher and Stewart? So Fern about take their tire wear, cut it in half, more or less. And that's the tire difference between these two. And you can see the 84 just struggling to put the power down. It also doesn't help, Justin. I don't think that line through that corner is working very well. It seems like they're kind of missing the apex a little bit.
Yeah, and you can also tell they're not as tight compared to Hawken and Mercurio right up to that barrier. So the confidence level just is very big, mind you, to be able to hit the marks on a road course. If you don't feel confident, you're not going to hit your full speed around the racetrack. It just seems they don't have the confidence to drive right up next to the attenuator to potentially smack it.
Ooh, and that was a very, very rough corner exit for Fisher, and just like that, here comes Fern once again. Keep in mind, this battle isn't for position. They're just continuing to battle. Nate Stewart has fallen off these two once again. I think had a little bit of issue going through the corner. So again, these two are just going to continue to battle. Great corner exit by the 84 there of Jacob Fisher, able to open up this gap once again. And we'll just keep watching these two go at it here, because nothing really going on with your leaders. Brandon Hawkins opened it up to about 5.5 seconds on Will Rogers. So Hawkins, much like the championship, is driving away with it.
Have to say, when it comes to Space Station Gaming, it's been a stellar season for them, because they've been very quick. And we're hearing Nate Stewart might be tight on gas. You mentioned the gas. There's a chance that these cars might have to start conserving. Nate Stewart's in that conversation now. He is asked on the radio about that.
That's going to be a problem, because by my numbers, the top 5 are all on the same fuel strategy, plus Devin Mistek. So that's not going to be good. One car to keep an eye on, though, Justin, the 66 John Garrett. We haven't really talked much about John tonight. That Fort Worth screen printing entry, 19 laps on this fuel stint. He's going to have to pit. Wow.
We're hearing that Prewitt is also in the same situation on the fuel. So a couple different drivers are now in spots where they might not be able to make it with 2 laps to go on the season. Brandon Hawkins leads by 5 seconds plus. But the big question is he going to be able to make it on the gas? Can Brian Mercurio, Jacob Fisher, Nate Stewart also make it on the gas? Because they have to try and stretch it 18 total laps, including the pace laps.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Jacob Fisher and Colin Fern, they weren't saving gas, because we were watching that battle happen. So, well, those two are going to be in the biggest trouble right now. I was watching John Garrett kind of putt around here. Has been saving fuel. I've noticed the corner entry, and he's been clutch and coasting. So the 66 should be all right if he's done his math correctly. But I would hate for this to all go wrong on fuel strategy. We mentioned it, though, Justin, with the 99 able to take that extra lap once the caution came out. That was a huge deal for the fuel strategy here.
Coming up to the final lap of the season, white flag waiting up at the stand if they take the race as official. For Brandon Hawkins, it's been a stellar campaign with 4 of 5 victories entering tonight, on the way to the Season 1 championship for Ring Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. He takes the white flag as John Garrett has to come in the pit. He can't make it on the gas. Can the rest of the drivers make it to the checkered?
Well, we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye on that timing screen as, oh, that was Dylan Poe just about put it in the wall in front of your leader. That could have been real bad. Brandon Hawkins trying very much not to be in the same place as Dylan Poe right now. Gets the pass done. And just like that, almost halfway through this lap, it's looking good for Brandon Hawkins.
John Garrett topped off on the fuel, scored right behind Colin Fern. So now there are 2 cars between Fisher and Nate Stewart, by the way. But what a good job on the substitution, you have to quickly note, for Brian Mercurio, holding on to second position within 5 seconds. Now was the quickest car last time by. He's done a stellar job in relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Mercurio doing a great job, but the man with all the gold is going to come through the backstretch chicane here. Brandon Hawkins, just a couple more corners left to go for that 99. He's got all the gold tonight.
Nearly smacks the safer barrier to close things out. Fuel looks like it will hold out. He will be able to coast from here. Brandon Hawkins, for the 5th time in 6 races, will win and Ring Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. He is your Season 1 champion. He wins at the Charlotte Roval.
What a drive by the driver of the 99, Brandon Hawkins. Brian Mercurio will cross the line in second. Looking at Jacob Fisher. He's going to make it through. No, he isn't. He's going to pound the wall, and he will finish on the podium, though. The 84 does finish third. Nate Stewart, just not enough. And Do It For Dale's going to finish in that 4th position. And Eric Prewitt going to come through the final chicane here. That 59 car going to finish 5th. Yes, he's able to hold on to it and run through the chicane. And Brad Perez coming through that final corner now. We'll have to tot up the scores here, but I think that's enough positions here from Brian Mercurio that if those points count, I believe that should jump him up, jump Will Rogers, though, up into third in the point standings, I believe, Justin.
Yes, there was a 5-point gap, and again, it'll have to all be added up with the bonus points. The 3 bonus points he got for him are going to be critical for the Overton Speed Shop Fastest Lap Award, to say the very least. But for Brandon Hawken, the full cool-down lap and burnouts are underway as he celebrates a championship. When he celebrated in the Big C's MX-5 Challenge just a couple days ago, he actually flipped over his Mazda MX-5 Cup car. Not likely the case today, but he'll be wanting to do backflips after winning a direct drive wheel on Sunday, and now $200 today. A championship banner night for Brandon Hawken, and a banner week for the 99 machine as the Bixel Sport machine crashes. That's a good cue to potentially look at your unofficial race results.
Yeah, he'll do his own version of the Polish victory lap, except he's going to reverse it around the final couple corners here. But we'll be waiting to see on points. But nonetheless, let's walk you through the full race results here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval edition, as he comes to cross that line here. There's your full screen results. Justin, take us through.
Brandon Hawken wins by 4.1 seconds over Brian Mercurio, but Jacob Fisher finishes in third, a 2-3 for Space Station Gaming. A stellar job for substitution rules for Brian Mercurio, 4. Will Rogers. Nate Stewart finishes in 4th, while Eric Prewitt finishes in 5th. Then it's Brad Perez rounding out the top 6. Devin Mistak secures the Monstop Shop 5-checker award once more. He was a +7 on the night, with Mud and Ramen rounded out the top 8 in the lead lap car. Still in Poe, John Garrett rounded out your top 10 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note, Nate Stewart was only 11 points off Colin Fern. That might be enough points for him to jump a position as well. 11th is going to be Colin Fern, as we just mentioned. Benjamin Branscombe going to finish in that 12th position. 13th is going to go to Elaine Hughes. Arnold Columbia is going to finish 14th. 15th to Sawyer Ott. Kevin Reed, of course, in race control, and Benjamin Fanning did not make the start. So with that, Justin, we'll jump down to victory lane here in a moment. But I think what we're going to do possibly is catch up maybe with the driver of Nate Stewart.
Yeah, a stellar race, and some of the drivers, I think, still in the midst of celebrations at the moment, to say the very least. Let's quickly get your thoughts on the race overall tonight. First things first, though. How did you feel this race fared out, in your opinion?
It was a classic Roval race. We had we had shenanigans with the corners. We had some fuel strategy there towards the end of it. This track seems to draw a little bit more fuel strategy than some of the other road courses. And Charlotte Roval, just a little bit of everything. Fuel strategy, good battles. Great accidents as well. This track has a little bit of everything, and I think has turned out to be one of the jewels for a track that a lot of people had a lot of questions about when they first put it on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule a couple of years ago. This track has turned out to be one of the mainstays, and I think one of everyone's favorite tracks when we go to it. But let's jump down. Third place, I believe, Justin, you're going to catch up with the driver who finished in that third place, Jacob Fisher.
Indeed, Jacob Fisher coming away with that spot. Jacob Fisher, do you have a copy, sir?
Yes, sir. We got you. Jacob,
a stellar race for you tonight. A 2-3 for you in Space Station Gaming. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Didn't qualify very well. We practiced all right, and then qualifying, I just couldn't get a lap down. I don't know. I'm never really good at qualifying, so didn't qualify in the position I really wanted to, and then just had to work my way through and run as consistent of a race as I could.
Indeed. And one of the things on top of things want to get your reaction on is in the midst of things, you also had to fight lap cars that were not for position back and forth. What was your reaction to having to fight Colin Fern for about 5-10 laps, not for position?
Not really surprised. In the beginning of the race, I got a nose in on him, and he just drove across it and then blamed me for wrecking him. So I wasn't surprised. I didn't think he was really going to give me that easy of a time, but, it is what it is.
Okay, so not at all fun from that perspective then. But overall, a lot of fun took place throughout this series in this championship. would you say, and how would you describe your performance in the championship?
Well, I did have a lot of fun. Road course racing with stock cars is always a ton of fun. I love doing this, and you know, as far as the championship goes, missing one race didn't really help me all that much, and I wish I would have capitalized more at Road America and at Indy. Those were our two drop balls, especially Road America. I felt like I had a pretty good car there. And Indy, I wish I would have been able to finish a little bit better, maybe one or two positions. But I mean, I just did what I had to and just managed accordingly. Missing one race, even with a drop, compared to everybody else that runs the whole season, you're kind of out of it from the jump. So just managing and finishing where we could was the goal.
Anyone you want to thank for your podium to end off the season?
Obviously, Space Station Gaming, Will Rogers and Brian for filling in for him tonight. It was great to race with Brian and all of their partners: Champion, Raven, Steel Series, Scuff, AK Racing, and looking forward to what the new year has for us in store. It's going to be a ton of fun. Oh, and also thanks to Manan and you guys for putting this whole series on. It's been a fun season to run.
Congratulations on the podium, and congratulations on the strong championship performance for you and your team.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it.
Jacob Fisher rounds the day. The driver who finished in second gets to say hello to Cisco, and that is today's substitute driver for Will Rogers, Brian Mercurio.
Yeah, Mercurio, yeah. You took the express plane back from Homestead out here to Charlotte, North Carolina, and a little bit different atmosphere for you from what you had one night ago. Less pressure, more pressure. I will say you definitely helped out Rogers in the championship fight, but walk me through that race, man. How was it out there?
Definitely slick out there. Man, I don't know if it's his tire or it's just the setup tonight, but grip was at a premium. I'll say it that much. So yeah, I was just kind of chilling here. Actually talking to Blade a lot today about as he qualified for the Coke Series after last night, just talking to him about, what we want to do going forward. And I got a message from Will saying, hey, you want to bring around the Roadies tonight? And I said, sure, why not? I don't got to test for pro anymore, so my nights are a little more free here. Decided to race. Knew Hawken was going to be the man to beat all night. So just kind of ran behind him, tried to match his pace for a little bit, and I don't know, maybe for about 7-8 laps there, I was up with him, but he really has the whole managing tires things down pat here. So, once you really kind of get a few laps into the run and the tires start to wear, I started to fall off a little more than I wanted to, but I think I ran a pretty good race overall. Only maybe had one scrape here or there on the wall. Kept it clean for the most part for Will, so happy about that.
Yeah, and looks like Will has the opportunity. We're still totting up the points on our end, but it looks like Will jump into that third place points position. So great run by you to make that happen. But talk me through, as one of the drivers on the high end of the scale here on iRacing when it comes to these NASCAR machines. Tell me a little bit for you coming into a road course. I mean, you mentioned Will talked to you today about doing the race. So once you agreed to that, what was the game plan for you to sit down and put yourself into road course mode and in a different car as well? Walk me through kind of your preparation for that.
Well, for the most part, I'm still getting used to running road courses a little bit here. About a month and change ago, maybe 2 months ago, actually. I got myself a new set of pedals. I got some Fanatec Club Sport V3s here. So brakes a little bit different on it. Throttle's a little bit different than what I had before. I had an older set of Fanatec. So, running with those for 6-7 years, you kind of build the muscle memory on that. So, I've been really running ovals here, especially with Pro going on. So, kind of get used to running, ovals on them with this set of pedals, but I haven't really had too many chances to run, especially stock cars on road courses, but really road courses in general. So things just kind of figuring out my limits of braking and kind of the whole muscle memory thing. In addition to trying to wheel a car around the track too, just trying to build up that muscle memory here. It's a little bit difficult. So still getting used to that. Hopefully I'll be ready for that. By the time the Road to Pro season, I know we go to a road course there, and once the NASCAR season starts, we got a lot more road courses up in series like NIS and AFIX this upcoming year. So got to get really prepped and ready to go here for these road courses with the stock cars. So yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at them in general. Obviously not as good as Hawken here, but he's a great guy to follow, great guy to talk to too. Learn a lot from him. So just kind of tried to run my race, not do anything too crazy, and just run around, finish P2.
Big esports organization and Space Station Gaming. Who makes it happen?
Yeah, well, mainly shout out to Will for all this. I see, I know some of the people who run in this series, and it was interesting, and I might have wanted to do it, but just kind of prepping and testing for pro takes up so much time, so I didn't really get the chance to run it. But today, everything happened to line up, so thank you to Will for reaching out to me. Let me race here. Space Station for being on the car. Pretty cool to represent a big group like them. I know Will and Jake have had a huge involvement with them over the past few months, so it's cool to be able to race a car with their logo on it. You guys are putting on the broadcast. Monon for putting on the whole series, running the race, and kind of officiating, running everything, making sure everything happens. I think that's about it.
Well, that's Brian Mercurio driving in relief for Will Rogers tonight. Brings it home second. Brian, congrats. We'll see you around the racetrack.
Thanks, guys.
That's Brian, and they're handing out some hardware down there in Victory Lane, so I'll pass the mic back to Justin Prince, who's caught up with the winner and champion of this season, Brandon Hawken.
Yes, indeed. Brandon Hawken closed out the campaign with 5 of 6 victories. His worst finish was 4th throughout the campaign, and a majority of the poll awards. It was a performance similar to what was seen by him in his respective performance in a Mazda MX-5 just days before to close out that championship. But today, he gets it done in the Cup cars. Brandon, you're a champion for the second time this week, and this time in Ring Around the Roadies presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. How does it feel to come away with the $200 top prize?
Hey Justin, man, it's it's been a pretty great week. So yeah, really happy about that, and I'm just really excited right now. It's been an awesome season. Thanks to Monin and everybody who sets this thing up. It was just a really fun season, getting to drive these stock cars for 6 weeks, and we'll see how it well, hopefully we have another season, because it's just been a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to come home with the championship for two this week. So that's I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that again, so that's pretty cool.
Of course, this race also had the interesting wrinkle of a substitute driver for Will Rogers being a fellow driver you've raced in the past in FTF racing, that being Brian Mercurio. What was kind of the reaction finding out, oh, hey, I'm racing him tonight, and seeing him behind you for a good 15 laps on the short runs?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could disclose that or not. I saw Brian's name show up in the Discord server, and I was like, okay, he's and then I couldn't see his name in the race server, so I was like, okay, yeah, he's probably subbing for Will Rogers tonight, and that was a really pleasant surprise, because I really like racing with Brian, and we've had some really great battles on road courses and other leagues, and it was just a lot of fun to race with him tonight.
Of course, the championship, it was a dominant one. 5 of 6 on the victories. Your worst finish was in 4th at Indianapolis, and what was a crazy one. What's kind of your overall take from this entire series over the past few weeks, and beating some of the best on the service, but also a lot of real-world drivers who have had varying levels of success in real-world stock cars?
Yeah, it's really cool just being able to run with these guys. There's lots of really good stock car drivers in this league, and as well with the professional drivers, and it's just a really cool thing to be a part of. It's just a lot of fun, and I definitely learned a lot about driving stock cars on road courses over the last 6 weeks, and I think I can apply that to other leagues now. It's been it's a really certain way you have to drive it. So I think all that experience has helped a lot, and we'll see what we can do going in the future.
Was going to say, what's the plan now, knowing that you've won 2 championships in 2 different types of cars? You've also had the success coming off the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge this year and taking part in the festivities for that just a couple days ago in real life. Overall, what's next for you?
Looks like Actually, I'm not totally sure. I have a few leagues lined up. Gonna be running FTF soon. If the series comes back, definitely be doing that. And Clifford Eben has a GT4 or a BMW GT4 farewell race coming up soon, so I'm gonna take part in that. And also, there's another MX5 series, this Spec MX5 challenge. So that should be a lot of fun too. It's gonna be a busy busy year coming up, I think, for league racing. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a really good year. And oh yeah, by the way, happy holidays to everybody and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I believe that our series commissioner, Juan Raman, wants to have the mic. I hand it over to him now for his special words to you, the champion.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously, this is the first time I've ever run an iRacing league at all. Had a lot of unknowns and what ifs and everything, but it was really cool to see the amount of talent that signed up for this series. We had, real life drivers such as Will Rogers, Brad Perez. We even had Garrett Smithley and Parker Clearman in here at some point. But Brandon, you beat them all, and you beat them all good. You really gave a lot of people a run for their money. So on behalf of Ring Around the Roadies, I definitely want to congratulate you. You've always raced people hard, but you raced everyone really, really clean, and I definitely appreciate seeing that. And you really worked like a true champion out there. So again, congrats, and hope you enjoy all the race winnings from this whole season.
Thanks, Monin. I definitely will. And thank you for the series. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you.
If you can, move to America soon, so that way I don't have to worry about the international fees on PayPal. But
maybe someday, hopefully. Actually, not hopefully. I love Canada, but
So as a series owner, I got to ask you, what's your secret? Do you have anything going on behind the wheel or anything, or you're just really that good?
Well, I guess I was talking to I think it was Benjamin there earlier. He asked, and I was like, just it's in your big toe.
Yeah, and again, congrats, you did awesome. It's awesome to see what you were able to do and just how much you were able to blow everyone out of the water by. So,
oh, thanks. It definitely wasn't easy. So thank you so much.
That was Mona Raman, the series owner and commissioner for Ring Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. Brandon, your quick final thank yous for what was a successful campaign for you.
Well, yeah, of course, just like to thank Monin and Lee, everybody who put this thing together, Fort Worth Screen Printing, all the competitors that we were able to race with this season. It was just a really great time. And yeah, man, hopefully it comes back because it's been a lot of fun. So, and I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And we'll see y'all soon, hopefully in the new year.
Congratulations on the championship, Brandon Hawken, your Season 1 Ring Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing champion.
Thanks, guys.
And what a season it was for him. I'd like to thank him, Brian Mercurio, along with Jacob Fisher, for taking the time to speak with us. And overall, unofficially, here is how things shake out, Cisco, because this is big, the points that were secured by Mercurio tonight, including his performance on speed. He actually, unofficially, has helped. It's still currently under review totally at the moment, but he did potentially get up to second in the points to get him $100. Then Brad Perez for $50, Jacob Fisher fourth, Scott Heckard missing the season finale, which is not a droppable race, cost him a chance at the prize pool, finishing unofficially fifth. Wow.
Yeah, huge point swing at the end there, Justin. And as we were talking a little bit on the side here, fortunately for Scott Heckard, it's one of those feelings where he's kind of powerless in this situation. Wasn't able to make the start tonight. Unfortunately, falls down to fifth, loses some cash there. But I'm sure Brad Perez is going to be happy because he was looking at a couple gains here as well. So I think all the drivers here who were able to make the start tonight pretty well, with the exception of maybe Jacob Fisher and going at it with Colin Fern, I think everybody was pretty happy tonight.
Indeed, and what a championship this was, and what a series this was. Visiting all the tracks for the future in NASCAR Cup Series competition, because that's one of the big things, right, is it's a chance for some of these drivers to get experience in the Cup cars and the road courses and have fun as well. And that's one of the big things. 2021 is going to be a big year for road courses, and this series helped show that with the need to carry speed around the road courses and be able to be nimble and quick, like we've seen from some of our top drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. But with putting this series behind us, that means it's about that time to start going wide open throttle, because we got plenty of plate racing coming at you here on STN, as well as a lot of the iRacing service. But coming up, of course, on Saturday. Saturday. That's a great day. That's a great day. Saturday, January 23rd, is going to be the FDF GNS presented by Bar Visuals, race number 1 from Daytona. And then, of course, coming up at the start of January is going to be the I Got Balls 400. It's happening once again. 5th annual. Brandon Monsivice putting that event on, one of the staples of plate racing, the plate racing season that sweeps iRacing every January and February. So plenty of racing coming at you here on STN Racing, Justin. And it's been great to jump back in the booth with you this evening as well. And I guess we got a plane to catch, because happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's exciting action once again for the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval. We'd also like to thank you for tuning in throughout this entire series for Rain Around the Roadies, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing, and all the drivers, the admin crews, the administrators, as well as the many more fans who have tuned in and taken part throughout this entire series. With that, it's time to say goodbye. For Director Zach Johnson, for my co-announcer tonight, Cisco Scaramuza, for everyone who has taken part in these broadcasts throughout this entire series, I'm Justin Prince, saying so long, happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. Congratulations to Brandon Hawken, your Season 1 champion.